They look at him and assume he's missing something. They see a man walking alone, no girlfriend, no dates, no hand to hold, and they whisper, he must be lonely. But they don't realize something powerful. This man isn't broken, he's building. He's not alone because he can't find love, he's alone because he refuses to settle. In today's world, a man without a girlfriend is judged like he's incomplete. Society ties masculinity to companionship, measures worth by who's on your arm, and equates solitude with sadness. But what if that narrative is completely wrong? What if the strongest man is the one who walks alone, on purpose? This video is not for the average man. It's not for the man who seeks validation through dating apps or who fears an empty Friday night. This is for the man who chooses solitude not as a hiding place, but as a forge. A forge where discipline, clarity, vision, and self-mastery are hammered into being. Let's flip the script. Let's stop telling men they need a relationship to be whole. Because here's the truth. The most dangerous man is the one who doesn't need anyone, but becomes everything. He's not spending his nights chasing attention. He's spending them reading, reflecting, training, building. He's not texting 4 different women just to feel wanted. Yeah. He's rewriting his future in silence. He's not desperate to be seen. He's focused on becoming the kind of man who's undeniable, even if no one's watching. The man who lives alone without a girlfriend isn't weak. He's not lost. He's focused. And that kind of focus is rare. That kind of power can't be bought. It can be borrowed. It has to be earned. In the quiet. In the grind. In the hours no one claps for. This isn't about being anti-relationship. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need one to feel like a man. It's about becoming the man who doesn't chase love out of emptiness, but attracts it through fullness. It's about building a foundation so solid that when love does come, if it comes, it adds to your power, not becomes your identity. So if you've ever felt like the odd one out, if you've ever wondered why you're the only one not in a relationship, if you've ever questioned whether something is wrong with you for choosing a different path, let me tell you right now, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly why that path, the path of solitude, might just be the most powerful one a man can take. But this is for the man who walks alone, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. Let's begin. The strengths of solitude. In a world that screams, you need someone to be complete, there stands a different kind of man. A man who lives alone, without a girlfriend, and yet walks with a quiet power that most can't comprehend. This man is not alone because he can't find love. He's alone because he has found something far more valuable, himself. Society often misjudges the man who walks alone. People whisper that he must be sad, broken, or incomplete. They assume he's missing out, that he's waiting for someone to save him, or that he simply can't find someone to love him. But here's the truth. This man doesn't need saving. He's not waiting for validation. He's not hungry for attention. He's chosen solitude over settling. The solitude is not loneliness. There's a massive difference. Loneliness is when you crave company and feel empty without it. Solitude is when you're at peace with your own presence. It's when your own company feels like a safe haven, not a punishment. It's when your quiet moments become the loudest lessons and your silence becomes your strength. This man has discovered that being alone doesn't mean being lost. It means he's on a sacred mission of self-discovery. When the world is constantly telling men to measure themselves by how many dates they get, how many women they attract, or whether they are taken, this man says, no, I will not chase to feel enough. Instead, he's chasing purpose, he's chasing clarity, he's chasing a life of meaning. He wakes up and asks himself, who am I becoming? What am I building? Am I proud of the man I see in the mirror? Because this man understands something rare. The foundation of a truly powerful life is not built through relationships with others first. It's built through the relationship with self. He uses this time alone to reflect, to heal, to confront his weaknesses and sharpen his strengths. He's not distracted by surface level validation or quick attention. He's focused on evolution, not entertainment. And do you know what happens to a man who gives himself that kind of space? You become unshakable. He becomes magnetic. He becomes the kind of man who doesn't need anyone, but who will one day attract someone who matches his strengths, his peace and his purpose. So don't pity the man who lives alone. Don't misunderstand his silence as sadness. He is a warrior in training, a leader in the making, a king in solitude. Because only when a man masters walking alone does he become truly ready to walk beside someone with strength, not need, building in silence the power of private progress. When a man lives alone, something powerful begins to happen. The noise of the world fades, the pressure of constant approval disappears, and in the stillness, he finds clarity. In that silence, he begins to build, not for attention, not for applause, but for himself. You see, society often teaches men to perform, to show off their wins, to flash their lifestyle, to prove their worth through external status. A nice car, a beautiful girlfriend, expensive clothes, social proof. But a man who lives alone, without a girlfriend, doesn't need an audience to become great. He builds in private, and that's where the most powerful transformations take place. He's not spending hours texting for validation. He's not wasting energy trying to impress. He's investing every moment into building his mind, his body, his character, and his future. He's reading, learning, training, growing, all without anyone watching. And do you know what happens when you work in silence? You become dangerous. Not dangerous in the way the world fears, but in the way the world respects. Because a man who built himself without needing approval becomes a man who is unshakable. A man who doesn't need to post about his progress becomes a man whose results speak so loudly he doesn't have to. He's the man who turns down distractions because his focus is sacred. He's the man who sets goals not to impress but to evolve. He's the man who can sit with his thoughts and not run from them. That kind of man is rare, and that kind of man is powerful. Every day he lays bricks, one by one. He works on his discipline, he sharpens his vision, he builds his financial future. He learns emotional control, he masters his habits. And because no one is watching, he's doing it for the right reasons. Not to get a like, not to get noticed, but to become a man he can respect. The world may not see his transformation, not yet, but it will feel the results. Because eventually the man who builds in silence emerges with strength, and the world asks, where did he come from? And the answer is simple. He came from the shadows, from the quiet grind, from the life most people avoid because it's uncomfortable, because it's lonely. But he chose that path, and that choice forged him. So if you are a man walking alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Use it. Let the stillness teach you. Let the solitude shape you. Because one day, your quiet work will turn into loud results. Keep building in silence, with fire. Because greatness isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows, turning loneliness into power, from isolation to inner strength. Living alone can feel like a curse. At first, it can feel quiet, too quiet. It can feel like you've been left behind, while others are laughing, loving, and building connections. But what if I told you that loneliness, when faced with courage, can become your superpower? Because in that isolation, something magical happens. You meet yourself. And most men go their entire lives without ever doing that. When you're alone, really alone, there's no one to distract you from your own thoughts. There's no one to validate you, no one to rescue you from your doubts, your insecurities, your fears. And that's where true strength begins. When you face all of that and you don't break. Loneliness forces you to confront the parts of yourself you've ignored. It pushes you to examine your habits, your beliefs, your pain. And instead of running from it, a strong man chooses to transform it. You begin to ask, who am I without anyone else? What do I stand for when no one's watching? What kind of man do I want to become? Not for a woman, not for society, but for me. When you stop filling your time with empty relationships, with shallow distractions, you free yourself to build something far more meaningful, a solid foundation of self-respect. Most men never sit with themselves long enough to understand what they truly need. They jump from one relationship to another, chasing comfort, avoiding growth. But the man who lives alone, who stands in the silence and learns to be at peace in it, he becomes dangerous in the best way. Because he doesn't need anyone. That doesn't mean he's cold. That doesn't mean he's incapable of love. It means he's whole on his own. And when a man becomes whole, he doesn't chase love, he attracts it. He doesn't beg for connection. He chooses it carefully, intentionally, from a place of strength. He no longer fills his void with attention. He fills his soul with purpose. He no longer feels like a victim of solitude. He becomes the master of his own presence. So, if you're alone right now, stop looking at it like a punishment. See it for what it really is, a sacred opportunity to build, to grow, to discover your true identity without the noise of the world, without the need to impress anyone. Because one day when you do enter a relationship, it won't be from a place of emptiness. It will be from a place of power, and she won't be your escape. She'll be your addition. But until then, use this time. Turn that lowliness into inner strength and become the kind of man who doesn't need a girlfriend to feel like a man. Because he already knows who he is, and that's a force no one can take away. Building discipline and direction, the path of the focused man. A man who lives alone without a girlfriend has one thing most people are too distracted to ever claim: time. Time to think, time to grind, time to build. But here's the thing, time alone doesn't make you great. It's what you do with it that defines your destiny. You can either waste this season scrolling endlessly, numbing your mind, running from your purpose, or you can seize this silence, this solitude, and mold it into your greatest era of self-discipline and focus. This is the moment where boys are separated from men, because boys seek distraction, men seek direction. And when a man is not chasing validation, not trying to impress a woman, not seeking attention, he can finally look inward and say, what kind of life am I building? What legacy do I want to leave behind? The man who lives alone has no excuses, no one to blame, no emotional roller coasters pulling him off track. He has a clear field in front of him to run full speed toward his goals. Want to get in shape? Now's the time. Want to build a business? You have the hours. Want to master a craft, develop a skill, or launch a dream? This is your season. Because make no mistake, discipline is a muscle and solitude is the gym. The choir will test you. No one's watching. No one's clapping. No one's holding your hand. That's the point. This is where you either sharpen your edge or stay dull forever. Most men lose their edge in the relationships. They grow soft, distracted, dependent. But the man who masters his focus while alone becomes dangerously effective when he enters the world again. While others are sleeping in, you're up before dawn. While others are binge watching, you investing in your future. While others are wasting time on temporary attention, you're building permanent success. This season isn't about isolation, it's about construction. You are constructing your character. You are laying the bricks of your discipline. You are wiring your mind for greatness. So let the world laugh if they don't understand. Let them mock your solitude. Let them think you're lonely, boring, antisocial. They won't be laughing when they see the results. Because the man who built in silence is the man who shines the loudest later. When you step into your power, they'll ask how you did it. When you move with clarity and confidence, they'll wonder how you became that man. And when you choose a relationship, if and when you do, it will be from a place of fullness, not emptiness. So don't run from your alone time. Embrace it, use it, and become the man who doesn't just survive in silence, but rises from it. The strength of standing alone, becoming the man the world needs. There's something powerful about a man who can stand on his own 2 feet, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. A man who lives alone without a girlfriend isn't weak. He isn't lost. He isn't undesirable. He is evolving. You see, most people can't handle being alone. They fear the silence. They run from their own thoughts. They constantly need someone to validate their existence. But not this man. The man who walks alone walks a path most will never understand. He has chosen self-discovery over social distraction. He has chosen growth over comfort. He has chosen to build himself before attaching himself to anyone else. And that's what makes him powerful. Because a man who doesn't need a relationship to feel complete becomes the kind of man who can enhance one if he ever chooses to enter it. He's not chasing a partner to fix his broken pieces. He's not looking for someone to rescue him from loneliness. He's not desperate to fill a void, because he's already done the work to fill it himself. He knows who he is. He knows what he wants. And he refuses to settle. Not in life, not in love, not in legacy. That's why a man who lives alone with purpose is one of the most dangerous men in the world, because he doesn't rely on anyone to define his worth. He creates his own standard. He keeps his own score. He lives by his own values. And when the world sees that, they take notice. He becomes the man who commands respect without demanding it. The man whose silence speaks louder than noise. The man who doesn't follow trends, he sets them. He's not emotionally reactive, he's grounded. He's not thirsty for attention, he's focused on intention. He doesn't compete with others, he competes with his past self every day. You see, the true measure of a man is not how many people he surrounds himself with, it's how well he handles being alone. It's how deeply he knows himself. It's how strongly he stands when no one else is standing with him. So if you're that man or becoming that man, understand this. You're not behind. You're not missing out. You're not lacking anything. You are in the middle of becoming. And when you've done the work, when you've sharpened your mind, built your body, focused your purpose, you walk into any room with a quiet power people feel without a word. Because true strength isn't loud. It isn't boastful. It's calm. It's composed. It's earned in the solitude you once walked alone. And the world will eventually see that the man who lives alone was never really alone. He was just walking ahead. So what does it truly mean when a man walks alone? It means he's decided to build, not beg, to create, not chase, to rise, not rely. He's not broken, he's bold. He's not lonely, he's learning. He's not missing something, he's becoming someone. This journey, the one of solitude, isn't the easy road, is not always comfortable. There are days when the silence is deafening, when the world's judgments echo louder than your own thoughts, when the temptation to settle creeps in. But the man who chooses to stay the course knows something most never will. Temporary discomfort builds permanent strength. This is the man who wakes up with a mission. He doesn't wait for someone to motivate him. He doesn't scroll endlessly for validation. He's not distracted by fleeting moments of pleasure. He's anchored in purpose. He's driven by vision. And most importantly, he is self-led. He knows that a relationship should be a bonus, not a lifeline. That love should complement, not complete. That if he wants to attract a high-quality woman, he must first become a high-quality man. And that means building himself from the inside out. In the dark, in the silence, when no one's applauding. Every workout, every book, every habit. It's a brick. A brick in the empire he's quietly constructing. And one day, people will stare in awe at what he's built. They'll say, where did he come from? And they'll never realize he was there the whole time. Just out of sight. Sharpening his soul. To every man watching this, who feels overlooked, misunderstood or left behind, you're not less of a man because you're single. You're not weak because you've chosen the path less followed. You're not behind because you're not posting couple photos or romantic getaways. You are ahead in ways they can't yet see. Because you're not chasing love, you're chasing growth. You're not begging for attention. You're mastering intention. You're not settling for someone to fill the void. You're learning to be full on your own. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And when the time comes, if it comes, and love enters your life, you'll be ready, not desperate, not unsure, not incomplete, but strong, centered, whole. And she won't complete your story, she'll join it. So to the man walking alone right now, keep walking. Let the world wander. Let them talk. Because while they're busy assuming you're missing something, you're busy becoming something. The world doesn't need more men looking for women to save them. It needs more men who've saved themselves. And that man is you. If this message hit your soul, share it with a brother who needs it. Like, comment, subscribe, and never forget, the man who walks alone walks the farthest. Keep going, your future's watching.